Welcome back to my channel. No. I hope this is in focus. Hi, welcome to my channel Box Office Poison. My name's Moxie McMurder, and today on Problematic Faves, we're going to talk about the skeleton key. That's upside down. Hi, welcome back to my channel Box Office Poison. Today on Problematic Faves, we're going to talk about the skeleton key. When I was looking for films to cover in the Problematic Faves series, this film kept getting mentioned, and to be honest, I was a little bit surprised. In my lily-white world, I hadn't considered the film to be problematic until I looked into it and read some of the criticisms. I watched the film again, and I can kind of see where people are coming from. It is a bit dodgy. Oh, my dog agrees. So let's take a look at this 2005, is it 2005, 2004? Let's take a look at this 2005 supernatural thriller, The Skeleton Key. Just a warning, there will be spoilers ahead. Skeleton Key is a 2005 Southern Gothic supernatural thriller set in Louisiana, starring Kate Hudson, Peter Sarsgaard, Gena Rowlands, and John Hurt. Kate Hudson is Caroline, a hospice nurse who answers an ad for a living carer position in an old plantation house to take care of a man who's had a stroke. While staying at the house, she begins to realise that things are not what they seem. She's introduced to Violet and Ben by local lawyer Luke Marshall, and after being given a skeleton key for the house, Caroline investigates the attic, some spooky shit goes down, and she starts to suspect that John Hurt's character Ben is suffering from something other than a stroke. The total absence of mirrors in the house leads to Violet telling Caroline about the house's history and the ghosts that show up in the mirrors. After visiting a voodoo priestess, Caroline enacts a ritual to help pull Ben out of his state. The whole premise of the film is built around the idea that hoodoo, folk magic, can only hurt you if you believe in it. Ben believes he's been hexed, so Caroline hopes that a spell can reverse the effects. And to her credit, it starts to work, but she's interrupted by Violet. Turning to Luke for help, they investigate further. So why is it problematic? Skeleton Key has been criticised for cultural appropriation and lazy racism, and I can understand why. It's another example of stories that are heavily influenced by black culture, but doesn't focus on any black characters. Caroline's best friend Jill, played by Joy Bryant, isn't technically the only black character, but she is the only one with more than a couple lines of dialogue. Meanwhile, the two most important black characters, Papa Justify and Mama Cecile, are for the most part played by white people, and that's problematic. Jordan Peele's film Get Out is another film with a twist that plays with body swapping, and manages to make a great horror with an especially biting comment on white people's affinity for cultural appropriation and keenness to show off just how woke we all are. When I was doing some research, I saw a lot of comments on Reddit and other sites that claimed that Get Out and Skeleton Key are essentially the same film, and honestly I was quite surprised by that. Skeleton Key is not about race, although arguably it should be. Get Out is explicitly about race. Skeleton Key attempts at times to make comments on race, but it really only lands once in my opinion, when Caroline, now as Mama Cecile, says she wants a black girl to inhabit, and Peter Sarsgaard's character, Papa Justify, says, "The black ones never stay," which is a knowing wink to the black audience, referring to the fact that the previous African American carers had the sense to leave the house once they picked up on the vibes. So what makes it a favourite? I have such a soft spot for this film. I've always wanted to visit New Orleans, so I'm always down for a NOLA horror story. The locations and set design are spot on, and really do a great job of creating an uneasy atmosphere. The battle of wits between Kate Hudson and Gena Rowlands is excellent. Yes, the film is focused on the supernatural, but the young and old facing off is just as much a part of the film as anything else. And it actually shows that despite what some critics may say, Kate Hudson can really act. And Gena Rowlands is so good in the role of Violet. For the longest time, you can't quite tell if she's just the crotchety old lady she appears to be, or something much more sinister. Skeleton Key is what I would call horror light. It has a few jump scares, but for the most part, it relies on atmosphere and tension to keep you entertained, and it certainly does that. It's the perfect gateway film into horror for older children, much like Nicole Kidman's ghost story The Others or the 2007 Stephen King adaptation of 1408. Despite the problematic nature of the twist, I really like the ending of the film. And while it's not as bleak an ending as some would have you believe, it's not exactly happily ever after, and I like that. I also just want to make a quick mention about the DVD extras that actually make a bit of an extra effort to show how much attention was paid to the film. It explores the plantation the film was shot on and the music and culture of Louisiana. Skeleton Key is definitely worth watching. It's a lot of fun, and while it's a little predictable, it should hold your attention.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and click the subscribe button so you don't miss any more videos. Sweet screams.